Shri Parthes Bhattacharya, ex-former chairman Coal India, currently he is chairman Peerless Group. Next, I'll request Mr. Rajendra Ingle, head of coal mining, Adani Enterprises. Mrs. Nandini Chakrabarti, MD, Mineline, please. And Mr. Kameshwar Rao, head underground mining business, Gainwell. We have got very eminent speakers here, very knowledgeable persons in their own field, and we are quite eager to hear their views and thoughts on the subject. And of course, they are panelists, so they can talk in general also about the sector. Before I hand over the mic to the chairman, Mr. S. Bhattacharya, I'll just brief on these great personalities. Mr. Partha Bhattacharya joined Coal India as a management trainee in 1977, rose to become a chairman in 2006, and retired in February 2011. In 2010, he spearheaded the initial public offer IPO of 10% of CIL CQT. It met with a resounding success and became a landmark event. The IPO is still the largest in India so far. He is also credited with turnaround of BCCL in 2005 and 6, as well as introduction of coal sale by e-auction 2004 and 5. He has steered CIL through Mini Ratna in 2007, Navaratna in 2008, and Maharatna in 2011, a unique feat by any PSU CMD. He authored When Coal Turned Gold, published by Penguin in August 2018. The foreword was written by late Sri Pranab Mukherjee, the then President of India. Sri Bhattacharya is currently chairman of Peerless Group and director on the board of several companies in India and abroad. Ms. Nandini Chakrabarti is the managing director of Mineline, a pioneering manufacturing of electrical equipment designed for hazardous atmospheres. With a rich legacy of 45 years, Mineline has established itself as the market leader in flame-proof electrical mining equipment. Ms. Nandini is one of the most recognized leaders in an industry that is principally male-dominated, breaking barriers and setting new standards. She is also a big advocate of gender equality in mining industry, championing the cause of women's empowerment and inclusion. I have seen her boys have done wonderful indigenous work. They've developed this matching of the equipment with the surface. You can monitor all the performances of the machines and different systems, subsystems thereon. Ms. Chakrabarti has authored and co-authored numerous papers and journals. Through her exceptional leadership and vision, Ms. Nandini continues to drive Mineline forward, maintaining its position as a leader in the mining electrical equipment sector and contributing significantly to the advancement of mining science and safety standards. Mr. Rajendra Ingle is a mechanical engineer with MBA Finance. Currently, he is holding position of business head of India Coal Mining of Adani Group. He is heading operations and development of more than 20 coal blocks across India, having estimated project capacity of 150 million tons. He is having vast experience of 30 years in mining, power, logistics sector, and leadership positions with domain expertise in business development, contract administration, techno-commercial, strategy and planning functions. He has been instrumental in establishment of India coal mining business of Adani Group during last 2 decades, achieving numero uno position as MDO of mining sector. Mr. Kameshwar Rao is head of underground mining business. Gainwell is currently responsible for complete operations of underground mining business, including order winning and execution of projects. Has an extensive experience of over 24 years in mining equipment, large fleet project management, and continuous minor project execution. A mechanical engineer by profession and MBA in project management, participated in Global Technical Development Program at Caterpillar Big Iron University, USA, and Management Mentor Program by Caterpillar in association with Harvard University. With that, I request Mr. Partha Bhattacharya to kindly organize the session. Thank you.
Am I audible? Yes. So, welcome to this last session of today's day-long conference, and my hearty welcome to all my panelists. You have heard what a level of panelists we have. So I think I will not waste any time talking in the beginning. Let us hear the panelists. They are experts in their own fields. And once they are done, I'll try to do a little bit of a summing up and maybe share a few thoughts at that point in time. So we have the order we want to set is we have the lady speaking first. And since her domain is underground mining, we'll have Mr. Rao next, so that he's also underground mining, and then of course Adani. So that's the order we'll follow. So may I request, Nandini, you start. You want to speak here?
No, I'm fine. May I take your permission to sit down as I speak? Because since it's a panel discussion, it's easier. Good afternoon. And, it is wonderful to be a part of such an esteemed panel. Mr. Bhattacharya is somebody who I have seen many, many years, along with all the veterans, Mr. U. Kumar, Mr. Parthi, Mr. N. Gautam, Mr. Ritolia. They've been part of, I should say, my learning years. I'll be very brief because I have been fortunate enough to have a ringside view for 45 years as to what is happening to underground mining. We started with the nationalization with the hope that we will be able to bring in some change. Unfortunately, the changes that were brought in did not work for us. I have some theories of my own as to why they did not work. First of all, we were dependent solely on imported equipment, and we did not have the time or the passion to integrate them into Indian soil. So once that equipment outlived its life, it died a natural death because of lack of spares, service, training, etc. Then on, we did have companies like MMC, we did have companies like Jessup. Unfortunately, they had their own problems, like what I have seen APHMEL also. So they sort of bit the dust. And there was no hand-holding at that time, because that would have brought us to the level of excellence as we compare ourselves to China's 90% underground production. We had more than 90% underground production at the time of nationalization. So, cutting a long story short, what are we doing today? Or what are the changes that we can evolve today? I think the first step we need to take as we go back into underground mining is to take a very long, hard look at our own mining conditions, our own mining talent, our own supply chain management channel, as well as integrating some of the technology we are again bringing in into Indian soil. We can import hundreds of equipment. We have equipment from all over the world today. We've tried China, we've tried South Africa, we've tried the Germans, we've tried the English. As a former British colony, we were importing only from the English. But how much of it was executed into real training or real technology development as far as the domestic industry is concerned? I have studied this problem, and I've gone back to Coal India many a times, and I feel one of the major causes is that we do not have standards. We do not have the last mining standards, which I'm trying to rescue from the Bureau of Indian Standards. I'm a member of the ETDC 22 committee, was in the 60s, in the 70s. And BIS tells me that nobody needs these standards. They're mining standards. Who needs mining standards? Nobody stamps their equipment with it. I don't get any revenue. So why the hell should I renew these standards and let them be in 1962? I went back to DGMS and I said, you're losing your standards. There are about 40 standards that are going down the drain because Bureau of Indian Standards have declared them as unsuitable for use because nobody takes a mark. Now, again, I feel the first place where we need to start is by creating our own standards. We are copy-pasting from IEC. I happen to attend a number of meetings of IEC. I am the Indian nominee for flame-proof equipment, nominated by the Bureau of Indian Standards. I was in San Francisco last year, And there was a room full of people who were formal standard writers. There is a profession called a standard writer. I didn't know that. And they were determining the standards of IEC 60079, which is the flame-proof standard, whereby they were at liberty to leave out or put in whatever they felt was good. I stood up and I asked them, the gentlemen, have any of you been down an Indian mine? They looked at me as if I was a specimen from some other planet. I said, where are you from? I said, I'm from India. How come no one's told us this before? And then I went on to explain that your disclaimer right at the beginning is that you expect people to be of a certain educated level, of a certain value, of a certain strata of engineering or operating the equipment. So you're putting in these standards. But what happens in our country is that we don't have that level of people who are interacting. I'm sorry I'm taking up your time. So when I went back to DGMS and I told them that, we've now put together a committee between the DGMS, the Bureau of Indian Standards. I've been nominated by Bureau of Indian Standards. And I want Coal India and I want CMPDIL. I want everybody who are the stakeholders, the manufacturers, the users, the MDO operators, everybody should put their hands together and create these standards, which will take us into the next, let's say, level of expertise. Thank you.
Thank you, Nandini, for that very interesting talk. I think what you tried to say is that we have still not been able to integrate much the underground mechanization with our own conditions. We are relying still on the imported equipment. I'm given to understand that some difference in this direction is being made by Gainwell. So I'd like Mr. Rao to.
Good evening, all of you. And it's my pleasure to get the chance to speak in front of such a senior persons and my role models in mining industry. I will start my point of view supplementing Nandini madam. See, in 80s, our underground, I'm going to touch only underground mining means that is my USP, I can speak better on that. So if we speak about the supply chain modernization, we should always look end to end, not in a part way, which is not going to give us any benefit. End to end, we can segregate in three parts. One part is inbound, means what are the resources we require for the coal production. Second one is coal production process itself. And third one, of course, is outbound, which is mainly our storage and delivery. As far as coal concerned, our storage and delivery is not an issue, though our transportation costs are still very high because of less modernization and integration. I'm going to touch upon inbound and manufacturing of or production of the coal. So inbound, modernization and